The Amazon held its breath. The air was thick, laden with the scent of damp earth and the promise of rain. The silence, deeper than the riverbed, was broken only by the rustling of leaves and the screeches of unseen creatures echoing through the dense foliage. This was the domain of jaguars and caimans, fierce and elusive guardians of the wild, of ancient trees that touched the sky and whispered secrets to the wind, their leaves rustling like ancient scrolls. It was a place of intoxicating beauty and raw, untamed power, where the river's current mirrored the pulse of the forest. And it was here, in the heart of this emerald labyrinth, that Miguel, a man of the rainforest, vanished without a trace. Gone without a trace, his disappearance cast a pall over the small village nestled on the banks of the Amazon's tributary. His absence was a shadow that loomed large, unsettling the daily rhythms of village life. Fear, like a venomous snake, slithered through the hearts of the villagers, coiling tighter with each passing day. Their whispers spoke of Yara, the mythical serpent, the protector of the rainforest, and her jealous wrath, a force not to be trifled with. Miguel, they said, had ventured too deep, had taken too much from the forest, disturbing the delicate balance. And now Yara had taken him in return, a grim reminder of the forest's unforgiving nature. The village elder, his face etched with worry lines as intricate as the rainforest canopy, shook his head in sorrow. His people, for generations, had lived in harmony with the forest, respecting its power and heeding its warnings, a symbiotic relationship. But Miguel, in his youthful arrogance, had forgotten the old ways, the sacred traditions that kept them safe. And now, the village trembled on the precipice of fear, the air thick with tension and unspoken dread. The elders gathered, their faces illuminated by the flickering light of a kerosene lamp, casting long shadows on the walls. They spoke in hushed tones, their words a mixture of fear and resignation, knowing the gravity of their decision. They knew what they had to do, a plan formed from desperation and hope. They needed someone who could face the unknown, someone who could appease Yara's wrath. They needed an outsider, a bridge between their world and the mysteries of the forest. The news of Miguel's disappearance spread like wildfire, carried on the humid air to the bustling cities beyond the rainforest's embrace. It reached the ears of Dr. Elena Reyes, a herpetologist of renowned expertise and unwavering courage. They called her the Serpent Woman, a title she wore with a mixture of pride and amusement. Elena dedicated her life to understanding the cold-blooded creatures of the world, to unraveling the mysteries hidden beneath their scales. She had spent years studying in the world's most remote corners, her notebooks filled with meticulous observations and sketches. Her passion for reptiles, once a source of amusement among her peers, had blossomed into a lifelong pursuit. She had stared down spitting cobras in the deserts of Rajasthan, tracked Komodo dragons through the volcanic islands of Indonesia. The Amazon, with its promise of undiscovered species and ancient legends, had always beckoned to her. The news of Miguel's disappearance, shrouded in whispers of mythical serpents and ancient curses, ignited a spark within her. While others saw superstition and fear, Elena saw an opportunity to delve into the unknown, to confront the intersection of myth and reality. And so, armed with her knowledge, her insatiable curiosity, and a healthy dose of skepticism, Dr. Elena Reyes embarked on a journey into the heart of the Amazon. The village, a cluster of thatched huts nestled on the riverbank, buzzed with a nervous energy upon Elena's arrival. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the very trees and river held their breath. Explorers and adventurers, drawn by the allure of the unknown and the promise of fame, had descended upon the village like a flock of brightly colored birds. Their presence was both a spectacle and a disruption to the village's usual tranquility. They came armed with machetes and compasses, with cameras and notebooks, their eyes gleaming with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Each one was eager to carve their name into the annals of history, to be the first to uncover the village's secrets. Elena observed them with a detached curiosity, her own demeanor a stark contrast to their frenetic energy. She was not here for fame or fortune, but for something far deeper. She moved with a quiet confidence, her eyes missing nothing. Every rustle of leaves, every distant call of a bird, was noted and filed away in her mind. She listened intently to the villagers' tales, her expression thoughtful, her gaze steady. Each story was a piece of a larger puzzle she was determined to solve. Unlike the others, she didn't dismiss their stories as mere superstition. She knew that within these tales lay the wisdom of generations. She understood that every myth, every legend, held a kernel of truth, a reflection of the human relationship with the natural world. These stories were not just entertainment, but a way to understand the world around them. Elena knew that the rainforest was a place of both breathtaking beauty and unforgiving danger. It was a living, breathing entity that demanded respect. She had spent years studying its secrets, its delicate balance of predator and prey, of life and death. Her knowledge was hard-earned, and she carried it with a sense of responsibility. She respected its power, understood the need for caution, for humility. The jungle was not a place to be conquered, but to be understood and respected. And it was this respect, this understanding that set her apart from the others. She was not just an explorer, but a guardian of the knowledge she sought. The villagers, their faces etched with a mixture of hope and fear, welcomed Elena with open arms. They sensed in her a kindred spirit, someone who could bridge the gap between their world and the outside. They saw in her a different kind of explorer, one who approached their world not with arrogance and greed, but with a quiet respect and a thirst for knowledge. She was there to learn, to understand, and to help. They saw in her their last hope of finding Miguel, of appeasing Yara's wrath, and restoring balance to their world. In Elena, they placed their trust and their future. Under the cloak of the rainforest's humid night, Elena ventured towards the tributary, her footsteps barely making a sound on the damp forest floor. The inky water, reflecting the star-dusted sky, held an unsettling stillness, as if the very air was holding its breath. The air thrummed with the symphony of the jungle, a cacophony of croaks, chirps, and rustling leaves, creating a haunting melody that echoed through the trees. Elena, her senses heightened, settled on a moss-covered rock by the water's edge, her gaze fixed on the dark depths, searching for any sign of movement. She had requested this solitary vigil, a chance to connect with the rainforest on its own terms, to understand its mysteries and its dangers. The villagers, their faces etched with concern, had warned her of the dangers, of the creatures that stirred in the night, unseen but ever present. But Elena, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and exhilaration, waved off their concerns, determined to face whatever lay ahead. She had faced danger before, had stared down creatures that would make even the bravest man tremble, and she was not about to back down now. She would not be deterred, her resolve as unyielding as the ancient trees surrounding her. Hours crawled by, each one an eternity in the oppressive darkness, the night stretching on endlessly. The forest whispered around her, its secrets hidden in the shadows, secrets that only the bravest dared to uncover. The air hung heavy with the scent of damp earth and decaying vegetation, a reminder of the cycle of life and death that played out in the jungle. Elena, her senses on high alert, listened to the symphony of the rainforest, her gaze never leaving the water's surface, waiting for any sign of what lay beneath. The moon, a silver sliver in the inky sky, cast an eerie glow on the water, illuminating the surface with a ghostly light. And then she saw it, a ripple, a disturbance in the otherwise still surface of the tributary. A ripple, a disturbance in the otherwise still surface of the tributary, sending a shiver down her spine. Her heart pounded in her chest, her breath catching in her throat as she realized something was out there. Something was out there, something lurking in the depths, waiting, watching. Elena, her hand instinctively reaching for the machete strapped to her thigh, held her breath, ready to face whatever emerged from the darkness.